Let's go.
We are live.
Hi, welcome everybody. This is the On the Fire Show. And I have with me Felicity Joy, my co-host, and we have a very special guest, Mr. Tom Mesereau. All right.
Woo. So excited.
Thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to be back.
Yes, we are excited because, yes, Dr. Bill Cosby is home. And I remember having a conversation with you before the show, talking about it was a travesty what happened to Dr. Cosby. Give us a little background because you was the lawyer of the case. What are now that the case is overturned, you're 2000 and zero. You haven't lost the trial yet. So tell us about the case.
Well, it's a great day for the Cosbys. It's a great day for the justice system. And you know, I've been doing some interviews and people have this wrong. People are trying to suggest that Bill Cosby's wealth and fame and connections got him a special deal. It's just the opposite. Bill Cosby's fame and wealth and popularity made him a target. And the Pennsylvania Supreme Court yesterday effectively said that he should not have been put through 2 criminal jury trials. He should not have been put through a prosecution and all the expense and anxiety. He should not have been sent to prison, that all this was a sham. There was an agreement years ago by the district attorney of Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, not to prosecute him. And people also who don't like Mr. Cosby or are bigoted or whatever they are trying to say that not only did he buy justice and not only did he buy fairness that other people wouldn't have, they're trying to say that he got off on a technicality. And nothing could be further from the truth. The fact of the matter is, District Attorney Bruce Castor of Montgomery County looked at all the evidence, talked to his investigators, talked to his police officers, talked to the other district attorneys, and he came to the conclusion that this case didn't belong in a criminal courtroom. And he made an agreement not to prosecute, not based on a technicality, based on a review of the evidence and a substantive decision that this case should not be prosecuted. So when people come out today and say, well, he got off on a procedural gimmick, he got off on a technicality, they're not dealing with reality. He should never have been put through any prosecution because the district attorney decided there wasn't enough evidence to bring a criminal case, made an agreement not to prosecute him. And based on that agreement, Mr. Cosby and his lawyers subjected Mr. Cosby to a civil case that he didn't have to be subjected to. So a lot of people are still trying to, detract from Bill Cosby's reputation and try to spin this in a false narrative. Yeah. He should not have been prosecuted because of the evidence. He should not have been prosecuted because of an agreement the district attorney made. And all these trials he went through, the 2+ years in prison he went through, the expenses and anxiety he went through, all were because he was a celebrity and famous and wealthy. It's not the reverse like they're trying to present it.
Exactly. I mean, if his celebrity would have gotten him off, it would have gotten him off 2 years ago. You're right, exactly, that it made him a target. And as I said to you last time when we had you on the show, our community was targeted. All of us who love the Cosby Show and all of us who love Fat Albert, all of his different shows, I really felt like we were robbed, as a community from some amazing art that was created on the television. A real Black Renaissance was happening. And I felt that was a target as well.
Well, let me tell you something they're saying. They're trying to poke holes in everything that happened. The prior district attorney made an agreement not to prosecute. He announced it publicly. It was in a press release. And he put pressure on Bill Cosby and his lawyers to subject Bill Cosby to testimony in a civil case. And a lot of people are saying that this was unusual, this was weird, this was different. Absolutely untrue. In my career as a criminal defense attorney, for years we've tried to convince prosecutors, don't put this case in a criminal courtroom, let it work itself out in a civil dispute. In fact, in California, in the criminal courts, there's by statute a procedure called civil compromise, where sometimes you can bust a criminal case down to what is called a civil compromise, where money changes hand and the case doesn't go any further. So the idea that anything this prosecutor did in this case was somehow weird and different and unusual and unprecedented. It's just not true. The guy was acting like a concerned prosecutor, went through the evidence, said it doesn't belong in a criminal prosecution, agreed not to do it, and Bill Cosby and his lawyers relied on that agreement. And that's what the Pennsylvania Supreme Court said. Prosecutors are held to a high ethical standard. When they make a representation, you're supposed to be able to rely on it. And that's what happened here. So all of these trials, all of this expense, all of this anxiety, going to prison, the appeals, going to the appellate court, going to the Supreme Court, all of this should not have happened. And it happened because of who Bill Cosby is.
Now, one of the things I wanted to ask about is the prosecutor. You know, we know that's his election. They get elected in Pennsylvania. The judge got elected. Now, the story, I think you talked before about this prosecutor, he was running on locking Bill Cosby up. Am I right?
Let me backtrack a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The DA who agreed not to prosecute Bill Cosby was elected DA. That's why he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Then he ran again. And he ran against someone who was putting ads on TV that if he's elected, he'll go after Bill Cosby. And it was a very tight election. But the one who defeated him, who then scuttled the agreement and took Bill Cosby to trial twice, he announced through political ads, elect me, I'm going to go after Bill Cosby.
Mm-hmm.
After the prior DA had agreed not to prosecute. And when the prior DA agreed not to prosecute him, that bound the office, not just the individual political electee. And that's one thing the Pennsylvania Supreme Court also said. This was a decision by the office. You can't just make an agreement one day, lose an election, and suddenly all the agreements are out the door, and then agreements will have value at all. But let me tell you about the trial judge.
Yeah, the judge, yeah.
The trial judge had run for DA against the DA that agreed not to prosecute Bill Cosby, and he lost. Then he got appointed judge. And when the next DA decided to go after Bill Cosby, the defense of Bill Cosby said, look, there's an agreement not to prosecute. So the judge agreed to have a hearing. So here's the judge, the old political opponent of the DA who agreed not to prosecute. The DA who agrees not to prosecute testifies under oath, I made an agreement not to prosecute him. And the judge says, you lack credibility. Dismisses the.
Wow.
Yeah, this was just ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous.
My goodness.
Look what Bill Cosby went through. And don't forget, he's 83 years old. He's legally blind. He knew that if he expressed remorse and took some prison courses, he would be released quickly on parole or probation. And he refused to express remorse. His sentence was 3 to 10 years. He could have gotten out in 2. He said, I'm not going to express remorse for something I didn't do. I'm not going to take that I shouldn't be taking. I'll do the 10 years. This is an 83-year-old man who's
amazing.
Takes his position. Unbelievable character.
Standing by the character that we got to know him by, you know, and you talked about his character last time you were here. First of all, I just hope everyone is sharing this broadcast out. There is so much misinformation about this case. So many people want to just have an opinion. We love to tear down our idols for some reason. We have this like thing like they used to watch the gladiators eat lion, you know, the lions eat them and everything. But no, we need to know the facts of this case. You had mentioned last time, Tom, that you'd never met a finer person, that you'd never had, you know, you've represented all kinds of people, and that you knew the character of this man was different than even anyone you had met. Could you speak to that?
He's a badass, let me tell you that. I mean, that's all I can tell you. I mean, his attitude, and by the way, also when he was in prison, the over 2 years, almost 3 years, he was known to counsel other inmates on what's important in life, how to behave, how to bring positive attributes to the world. He spent days and months working on people, helping them to achieve, believe in themselves, to leave the prison and do good for the world. I mean, he did a tremendous amount of good during the almost 3 years he was locked up. And that's something also about who this person is. But he never wavered, that he was not going to express remorse for something he didn't do. He was not going to be broken, you know, and forced to admit something he said is not true. And he's a stand-up guy. He's something else.
I
Okay.
just think that's such a lesson right there. Sorry, Daryl, I'll let you jump in. But I just think there's such a lesson because people are getting on this sort of apology tour and they're doing these things. Don't make those kind of deals with the devil. You see what God did for this man. He got him out in less than 3 years by staying with the truth. And that's what people need to do. They need to stop apologizing because they think somebody's going to give them something. They are lying to you. You need to let the truth defend you. Go ahead, Daryl.
You're definitely right. So, Mr. Mesereau, you lawyer for Michael Jackson, Bill Cosby. What do you see the similarities in Michael Jackson and Bill Cosby during the whole prosecution of their trials?
Well, they're both, first of all, great artists, great people, people with enormous talent, enormous vision, enormous inspiration. They both bring a total unique combination of spirit and inspiration and creativity and character to the planet. I mean, Michael Jackson, you know, had a tough upbringing. You know, Michael Jackson told me that he would sometimes have to rehearse till 3 a.m. as a child and then get up at 6 to go to school. And he had to travel on weekends with the family as a child to perform in clubs in Detroit and Chicago. And Michael Jackson had it real hard. It certainly perfected his talent. And he attributed to his father, you know, a lot of his success because he said, my father really disciplined me and forced me to be the best I could be, but he paid an enormous price for it. Bill Cosby has ended up paying an enormous price for being one of the most talented people on the planet, for being very opinionated, for being very strong in his character and beliefs, and for not bending over to anybody just because he's scared or fearful. That's not Bill Cosby. And Michael Jackson had a tremendous courage too to be who he was. He actually took on the world in his own way. He wanted to change the world, make it a better place. He wanted to focus on the world's children because he felt he had not much of a childhood. And I see tremendous creativity in both people. I see tremendous spirit in both people. I see a willingness to be themselves in both people. And they're both outstanding human beings.
Yeah. So tell me, what do you think the next step should be for Bill Cosby? I was listening to one of the television stations that talked about Bill Cosby could sue the state of Pennsylvania.
You know, I don't know.
Possible?
I haven't talked to him since he got released. I don't know what his plans are. I assume he's resting with family and trying to get over this horrific experience. I don't know what his plans will be. He may want to do something like that. He may want to stay away from the legal system as much as possible. I don't know.
And there is great news that Tom told me before the show. And listen, if any of you all have questions out there, please go ahead and ask them while we have Tom Mesereau with us. It's such a tremendous honor. But you gave us the great news that he cannot be re-prosecuted about this. This case is absolutely over. There is nowhere else to go with it. He is absolutely free about this. Is that correct?
The Supreme Court said that non-prosecution agreement is enforceable and he cannot be re-prosecuted or retried.
That's great news.
That's awesome.
It's fantastic.
So what do you think about the media coverage? CNN, MSNBC have, or all the local national media coverage have talked about the Bill Cosby situation. Do you think it has been fair when he was released? No. So they're bringing all these women up again. You know, how they're saying that he's guilty and, oh my God, they just can't believe this man is out. It's really sad to me.
Well, look, the media wants ratings. The media wants revenue. Look at the way they tortured Michael Jackson. I tried that case for Michael Jackson. It was a 5-month trial in northern Santa Barbara County, California. I mean, Michael was just, on edge the whole time, wondering if he'd go to prison and never come out. And the media was loving it. They were elevating. I mean, I remember verdict day in the Michael Jackson case. We went into the courtroom, we sat down, and I looked behind me and I saw all these media representatives smiling. They were thrilled. They thought this was going to be an exciting day for them. They were going to see Michael Jackson convicted, hauled off into jail. They were looking forward to months to build up to the sentencing hearing where he'd come in jailhouse, orange with chains. Yeah. They couldn't wait to see this. It made for great drama, great ratings, great revenue for them, great excitement. And when he was acquitted, you could see the looks on their faces. They were so dejected. They were so depressed, so upset. The story was over. They had to get all their cameras and crew and leave town and find some other story. So the media wants drama. They want controversy. They want to keep promoting the controversial aspects of anything Bill Cosby says or does. And that's their bread and butter. So I've been interviewed on a number of shows. I was interviewed on CNN this morning, and they want to focus on the negative. They want to say he got off on a technicality. He got off on a procedural gimmick. They read a portion of his deposition, and I said to him, well, you didn't read the other portion, did you? Where he said every encounter was consensual. And the guy tried to drown me out. He was so upset that I was striking back at him. I mean, they want to perpetuate, the crisis. They want to perpetuate the allegations. And
no one wants to think about why is his wife still with him? These marriages are disposable in Hollywood, and yet his wife is still with him. That says something. Felicia Rashad came out and said, finally, justice has been done. Which of you all, being judgmental, knows him better than Felicia Rashad, knows him better than his own wife? Come on.
But she's also getting criticism too today, Felicia.
What?
She was getting criticism today.
Oh, she got a ton of criticism for coming out and standing out for him. And she still did it. She had to know that she would. She didn't have to say anything, but she still stood up for him. That says something.
I agree with this. Listen, the competition in the world of media is so intense, so relentless, so profound, and everybody's insecure about their ratings, their position, whether their show will last. And they try to find one controversy after another and generate ratings off that controversy. So they don't want this to go smoothly into the night. They want the controversy to remain. And that was the I got today and yesterday.
Awesome. I always wanted to ask you, why do the top people, entertainers, pick you? What is it about you? What is it about Thomas Mesereau that people say, I got to get him? He's my man. He's my guy.
That's an unfair question. I'm not going to discount
He's pleading the fifth, Daryl. You got him pleading the fifth on our show.
Mr. Mesereau, that people say, the greatest of the stars, to say, I have to go to Mr. Mesereau.
Well, I'm glad they do, but I'm not going to.
So I just want to restate, because someone had asked, so what kind of deal did he strike to get off on this conviction? This is just that he, if you lose a court case, you can take it up. You can take it up to the appellate. You can take it up to the Supreme Court. This is just the Supreme Court case came up and got seen. Is that right? Is that why we're seeing this today?
Convicted by a jury in a very unfair trial. And he then made a motion for new trial in front of the trial judge, which was denied. He then filed an appeal, went before the appellate court of Pennsylvania, which was assigned the case. That was denied. And then he went to the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, and they overruled everybody else. They said this case should never have been prosecuted, and it's over. So it took a while.
Yeah, and this is exactly what you told us. You were on our show a couple of months back. This is exactly what you told us. The case never should have been tried. It never should have gone to court for exactly the reasons you laid out earlier in the show. And with all that we've seen coming out of the courts recently, we can finally say justice has been done. Like, they got this one right.
It's been done, but look what it cost Bill Cosby unjustifiably.
Yes.
2 trials, prison for almost 3 years, all the money spent on appellate lawyers, all the anxiety, all the disruption in his family, all the damage to his reputation. Look at the price he paid because he's a famous celebrity. And look what he was subjected to, that the Pennsylvania Supreme Court has said he never should have been subjected to 1 ounce of it.
Yeah,
so
that's what people were saying.
This is what I call celebrity injustice, not celebrity justice. The enemies, of justice are the ones saying that he bought justice because of his wealth and prestige and fame. It's exactly the opposite. His wealth and prestige and fame attracted injustice, and it took a lot from him. And I hope he has a spirited recovery and enjoys his family and gets his health back. And he's a very, very wonderful man. The person I know is a great guy, I'm telling you.
We hope the same thing, because that celebrity, the price he paid for that celebrity was all the wonderful entertainment that we got to enjoy for years and years and years.
Yes.
And, we're the ones that benefited off of him becoming a celebrity. Not that he didn't have any benefits, but my God, he has truly paid for it. And now, from our just ridiculous societal ideas, we pay for it by not being able to see that entertainment regularly. It should never have been taken off. Actors that's a job. They create things, and that has nothing to do with their personal life. It's just like a ridiculous societal thing that we think you are a role model and an actor, and so everything you've done now is tainted. It's just completely ridiculous. Well, by those means, those shows need to be put back on. That's what
definitely
needs to happen.
Yes,
And you can't repay all the years that they've been off and all the people that haven't been able to enjoy it, but you can put it back on if people had 1 ounce of justice in them. And so I will never stop saying that. And I'm like, I will not forgive you guys for taking that away. I will not forgive you for even painting the reputation of all the beautiful art that he made and all the images. See, those images were put before our eyes as a Black community. And people didn't think of it as, oh, that's a Black show, I don't want to watch it. No, everybody watched The Cosby Show.
Sure.
And so, but those images were put before our eyes, and they're like, I can do that. Like, I can have a healthy family. I can come out of wherever I am, and I can live in a 2-parent home, and I can have that for myself. Those images are important, and it wasn't the crap entertainment that we have today that just wants to push their crazy values down our throat, but they were loving, good, wholesome values. And that is the type of man that he is. And that's why he would not say that he did something he didn't do. So just think of that as an 83-year-old man.
83-year-old man.
Not being willing. I will not take a deal. I will not say that I did this thing. That speaks to me so strongly.
83 years old, legally blind.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So
wouldn't pinch.
Yeah. So I always ask this: what is your favorite Bill Cosby show or movie, Mr. Mesereau?
I don't know how to answer that because there's so many great ones. I mean, how do you say one's better than the others? I mean, the man was so active for so many decades. I mean, I like so many things he did. I don't know how to pick one out. I mean,
I like Uptown Saturday Night. Let's do it.
That was great. You got me laughing thinking about that. That's great.
Uptown.
But listen, I also look at his very strong character when it comes to social issues, racial issues, historical issues. He's never pulled any punches. He's a prolific reader and thinker, and he was always willing to speak his mind in an honest, straightforward way. And that's something I always respect about him. He's a true civil rights leader as well.
Yes. And it's
a revolutionary, a renegade, but always told the truth as he saw it. And never lacking in courage when it came to expressing his opinions. And not everybody liked them, but they were heartfelt. And this is a very, very complex, talented, special person, special in many ways.
Yes, definitely. And he also gave out a lot of scholarships for students at Temple University, all different universities for schools, for kids to go to school. I mean, that's so important that.
But when you interview Andrew, his publicist, a man who has stuck by him through thick and thin.
Yes.
Ask him about Bill Cosby's support for historic Black colleges in the South.
Yes.
Because Andrew represents Miles College, one of the historic Black colleges in Alabama, and he'll tell you that Bill Cosby put $200 million into education to help his community through the years. And what happened when he was falsely charged? All these universities started, taking away his PhD, taking away his honorary professorship. I mean, they must have egg on their face now. I mean, it's just utterly ridiculous. And he did so much, at least $200 million that I'm aware of.
Wow.
Was donated by the Cosbys to education.
And the man has suffered so much. One of my favorite things about him, he had a beautiful son who wrote some lovely books and died way too soon. But just to think of, the fact that he raised, this man who wrote these books, and just everybody knew that he was so happy. And you see the loyalty and the love around him. That's also not a real Hollywood thing. You don't have people whose attorneys and whose publicists stick with them that long. Like, you don't see this kind of loyalty. So I just hope that we've presented to the audience today, and those that you all share this out to, I hope you have a fuller picture now of this man, and not just the sound bites from the media that's just salty because they were wrong. They were wrong from the beginning about it, and the courts were wrong about it. And now justice really has been served. And those of us who had a great love for him in our hearts, we can feel good about that again. But you know what? Never let the media take that from you.
Yes.
Never let them take it from you again, because they were wrong the whole time.
Yes. So one of the questions someone asked me is about the Me Too movement, and how did the Me Too movement play a role in Bill Cosby's prosecution?
Well, first of all, let me say this. I support the Me Too movement. There's been a lot of injustice directed towards women in our history and in our society. And there's been a lot of prejudice towards women who have legitimate claims. So I support the objectives of the Me Too movement. I think it's a necessary movement, but it's gone to excess. And like any powerful, passionate social movement, you've got to be careful it doesn't, reach beyond the boundaries of what's right. And I think the Me Too movement has achieved a lot of good, opened up a lot of eyes, particularly male eyes, to what they were saying and doing, and the insensitive behavior they were engaging in. And I think it's done a lot of good, but I also, because I'm in the criminal courts, I see it being taken advantage of. I see it being misused. I see people coming up with accusations that don't make sense. So like any other powerful social movement, you've got to be careful it doesn't go too far. It doesn't get misused or manipulated.
And we have done that in family courts. Women can lie without any reciprocity. If you're in a family court situation and you're a woman, if you lie on the man, there's no justice for that man. It has really gotten to the place where now men really need advocacy, and fathers really need advocacy. So there has been something insidious behind that needs to be uprooted.
Yes. Well, go ahead.
Well, our society, if you look through our history, there have been periods where strong social currents, strong social movements took hold. And if you look back, you'll see a lot of these movements, they get taken to excess. They get misused. They get manipulated. Innocent people are dragged into things they don't belong in. And eventually you see the movement become a little more restrained, a little more restricted, and more balance sets in. But I think we've been living through a period of imbalance where the Me Too movement, as good as it is and as valuable as it is, and it is very important,
very valuable,
has been taking off in an accelerated way, and it's open to misuse. It's open to manipulation. And a lot of men don't know how to react to it at the moment, particularly public officials, judges. It takes courage to look at something and say, you're right here, but you're not right here. And that takes balance, it takes judgment, it takes courage. And the system is still working its way through this very powerful, and as I said before, very correct and necessary movement. But we can't let it go to excess, and we can't let people take advantage of it.
Thank you for that perspective, just of the, wisdom of seeing movements that have done that, but then have course corrected. That definitely gives me sort of hope that can happen here too. We just have to keep our wits about us and keep speaking in more like nuanced ways. Like, don't be afraid to talk intelligently about things, even though we are in a soundbite culture. We do not have to fall into that and make everything so simplistic. And it's just believe all women, as if there aren't women that are very problematic, right? We have to just believe the truth is what we need to do. So thank you for bringing that balance. And Daryl, thank you again for engaging Attorney Mesereau that he would come to us today.
Thank you. And Mr. Mesereau, I'm happy to have that you on, because you're one of the, probably you and Johnny Cochran are the two most famous the best of the criminal justice system lawyers, criminal attorneys.
I'm humbled that you would put me in the same place with Johnny Cochran.
Johnny Cochran.
He's my hero and my mentor. He was the best trial lawyer I ever saw in criminal court and in civil court. He was an astonishing trial lawyer. Just a great.
And you won the Trial Lawyers Association, the National Lawyer Association Trial Lawyers, twice?
I've gotten a few awards here and there. I was Criminal Defense Lawyer of the Year a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But Johnny was as far as I'm concerned, he was my mentor and my hero. I've never seen anyone quite like him. He brought in such unusual talent and a combination of talents into the courtroom, an insight into human nature, an ability to communicate with anyone, to put anyone at ease and be liked, and respected. And he achieved remarkable moments in his career as a civil lawyer and a criminal lawyer. He was one of the greats of all time.
Oh, go ahead.
I said the greatest I ever saw.
Yeah. One of the things, I always talk about, I talked about you to some friends of mine a few days ago, and, we talk about people and their history and what makes them great. I remember a time you talked to me about your father, and, he was part of World War II. He was worked with MacArthur, aide to MacArthur, am I right?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, you come out of, and your mother's side, Mama Leone's, Leone's, and I tell people that, and they said, I asked them, have you heard of this restaurant? And whoever went to New York, especially in the 60s and the 70s, and they said, yes, Mom Leone's. And when I tell people about you and, about how, your father worked with the great MacArthur, and, you were, and when I tell people about you, you were destined to do, when you were growing up, did you feel that you had to do something great in life because of your family lineage?
Well, I was surrounded by strong personalities, and I did, looking back, develop a desire to sort of find out who I was myself. I played football for a while, but I never was going to be as good as my father. So I started, I was looking for something where I could excel into. I think there's truth to that. But look, all families have their ups and downs. All families have their good moments and bad moments. My family had, ups and downs like anyone else. There were strong personalities. There's a lot of color and excitement in some of the things, we did. But there was some, there were the sad moments too, and the tragedies, and we were not immune from any of that. But I was very blessed to have wonderful parents and grandparents and a family that provided me a lot of opportunity. But I was determined to kind of find my own niche if I could. Nobody was a criminal defense lawyer, let's put it that way. I found it. I'm blessed to have found it. And it was where I belong, and it's still where I belong. So I'm lucky.
Yeah, and to be one of at least 2 or 3 best criminal attorneys in the 21st century.
Well, I'll let you say
that's
that.
Amazing, huh?
I'll let you say, I'm not saying it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And you'll go down in history as one of the greatest of all time.
I may want to hire you as my publicist.
Yes,
I know, right? He's good with that stuff. I tell you what.
But it's one of the things you've had, and I know I think you talked about it was hurt to see the Bill Cosby case, losing the Bill Cosby case, but now the court overturns the case. And I know you had to feel some type of, that thump you have in your chest, that lump, that feeling like, okay, it wasn't so bad. We really
well,
won.
I saw the injustice in this case very early. In fact, one of the smart things I did in the trial was I got approval from the Cosbys to bring in 3 appellate lawyers and have them join my team. And they were filing written objections and legal authorities to support those objections every single day. This was the best appellate record you could make in a criminal trial. It's the best record I've ever made. And I saw the judge was clearly on the side of the prosecution, clearly trying to shade his rulings so we were hurt, and clearly trying to get what he wanted. And I saw him look at me a number of times when we were filing these constant objections and supporting authorities, and he didn't like it one bit. But fortunately, it paid off. I think the success on appeal had a lot to do with our appellate team in the courtroom as things were happening, filing these objections. But I saw the injustice in this thing from day one. So I really thought we're going to do our best to try and win this, but we have to be ready for an appellate battle. And I don't think I've been in any case where we've had a better appellate record than this one.
Awesome. Well, listen, I don't want to waste any more of your time. I thank you. I thank you for coming on.
Thanks for inviting me. It's always a pleasure. And you both have such great social consciences. You're so concerned about what's going on in the world, and you're very, very vocal in your opinions. And I admire you both very much. And it's an honor to be with you. Thank you.
I didn't say waste. I didn't mean to say waste. Take up more of your time. But listen, I wasted.
We didn't waste time. This was important.
Yes, this definitely was important, and we're going to send it out to thousands of people. We're excited about Bill Cosby speaking with Andrew Wyatt. I'm going to try to send him the video tonight or tomorrow morning so he can check a look at it. And so hopefully by tomorrow or Saturday, we can interview Andrew Wyatt and Bill Cosby at the same time. He said yes.
That would be wonderful.
Yes.
That would be wonderful if you could do that. They're 2 great men and good friends of mine, and they're both brilliant in their individual ways. They're great people.
All right. And
thank you for your time, Attorney Mesereau. Thank you so much. We're just so thankful that justice has finally been done.
All right.
And another W. Yep. Amen. Yep. It's been an awesome night. Thank you guys for watching.
Thank you. See you later.
This is the all right. This is the On Fire Show with your host, Daryl M. Brooks and Felicity Joy. We'd like to thank you all for watching. We have one of the greatest attorneys in the history of all mankind on the show, Tom Mesereau. Listen, you really have to do the research. You really have to find out the great things that this man has done, and also Bill Cosby and all the things that Michael Jackson has done. It's all great things. And I just want to thank all for watching and support the On Fire Show. And we're going to have very special guests that come on, and we will have Bill Cosby and Andrew Wyatt come on the next day or two. Thank you all for watching. God bless. Thank you, Felicity. Thank you.
Happy 4th, everyone. God bless America.
God bless America. And thank you, Mr. Tom Mesereau.
Thank you again. Really enjoyed it.
All right. Thank you. God bless.